I learned from it, just from my looking at the heroes I use. Victor, yeah, Victor's cool. I don't have Slash Zone, so I can't really get full advantage of Victor. Really feel out what Victor's like without having Radius, which is definitely a downfall, but there's no Radius banner, so I can't do anything about that. But Victor's amazing. I've not really gotten a whole lot of use out of him since I started with Foran. AS Foran was the start, and she was the carry. AS Foran was definitely, like, if you're starting out and AS Foran's a banner, I'd say definitely get AS Foran. She can heal. Here, let's bring up the. Oh yeah, I'll bring up my stream now. I'm bringing this up. So as far as content comes, here we'll look at Foran. Foran was my start, and she carried me pretty far, especially because she has an AOE that. Wait, that's the wrong one. She's an AOE that restores all party members 1,000. I think it's like 1,800 when you have max stacks on her, and she comes in with 4 stacks. So she is so if her VC stacks 4 tigers, and deploys Pierce Zone, which is pretty good for lance and bow users. And Serene too, who also has a piercing attack. And yeah, this AoE cleared like pretty much everything. It does a lot of damage too. And the more, if you have 4 stacks of Tiger, it uses less MP as well. And yeah, you get more damage with more Tiger stacks. So you could just come in with her VC and then one shot everything. Foran's very much a one-shot character. Because when you also come in, she'll also do a water type piercing, which one shots a lot of like horrors or rares or whatever you want to call them. She one shot a bunch of bosses too. Like, yeah, it does increased damage when you have 4 attacks of tigers. So if you come in with her, you set Pierce Zone, you use this, you one shot the enemy. If they're not dead, or if they're not dead, she gives everybody crit for 5 turns, and it's just it's really strong to start out with. So definitely AS Foran has been amazing for Japan. I'm definitely saving stones for her. And the cool thing too about AS Foran is Chiruriru is also on the banner, and you also get Jade when AS Foran comes out, or Jade will be able to 5-star. The good thing about Jade, and he goes hand in hand with AS Foran, is because he gets this, where actually it's 50%. Yeah, he gets this, where he will do pierce resistance minus 30%, and all lance get 50% damage. And then he actually does a good amount of damage on his own with his 5-star skill, which is fire too. And if it's pain, which if you're using like Serene with them, you could get pain, and he could just do a silly amount of damage. I don't know, maybe I'll put videos in here if I'm lazy, maybe not, I don't know. And then Chiruriru is just a monster when it comes to DPS. She's a little weird being lunatic, and she's definitely a glass cannon. But yeah, if you're the banners I'm looking for, like after what I know and what I've used so far, definitely going for Radius. I will use everything I got to get Radius, which I haven't even gotten yet, but just seeing what she can do is pretty amazing. She can tank, and she can set Slash Zone, which there's a lot of Slash users out there, so you can get a very diverse team using Radius. And she's also quite the tank, and she can do a lot of damage. Like, I think it's the more damage she takes, the more damage she can do, I believe is how she works. Oh. Thank you, babe.
Might need salt.
Thank you, babe. Okay. Thank you. But yeah, don't have any actual first-hand experience using Radius, so can't really comment on that. Let's see, let's get back to who I actually have. 1 second here. And well, everyone knows Susie. Susie AS is a monster Single target monster. Like Susie, regular Susie can do a lot of AoE, but Susie is just an extreme machine when it comes to single target, especially in Pierce Zone, or probably Wind Zone. I don't have Wind Zone, so I can't comment on that, but in Pierce Zone, she's quite amazing. Mistreya is really cool too. She is, I don't think there's any information on the wiki about her, but I can definitely tell you from my experience how she works. Yeah, there's no description here, which is fine. That's okay. She I can just tell you from memory. Mistreya has Lunatic, and she's Crystal Lunatic, so her Lunatic she'll do the same skill twice when you pop her Lunatic, and I didn't really explain Lunatic yet, have I? I did to the people in stream, but this is a standalone video. Lunatic works by, instead of a basic skill, it's replaced with Lunatic, and when you pop Lunatic, it'll last for 3 turns, and it'll do whatever the person's character's Lunatic version does. And in Mistreya's example, she does double attack, so she'll do 2 of whichever skill you use. And this skill is 55, is a crystal attack. It'll give her, I believe, damage and speed up, and then something else up. I don't remember, but it stacks up to 4 times, and so she just keeps on getting more and more damage as she uses. So and then 2 turns will get her max. So she ramps up with damage really quickly. This is she does a heal and then a physical defense, I want to say, 35% up. And she does a big old heal for everybody, and that's this skill. And this skill is wind and crystal resistance AoE down. It's a wind AoE, but it'll debuff crystal and wind resistance. And then those are the only skills I use. She does other things, I guess, but I don't know what it means. She's quite good. Welcome, Draz Buddy. Crystal is an element. Yeah, crystal is a new element. There's crystal, shade, Maru does shade, and then Victor does lightning. Those are the 3 new elements as far as I'm aware of. Who else is new? We already have Myris AS in global, so I don't need to go over her. Shannon AS is pretty cool. I can actually use the wiki for that. 1 second. Shannon AS is cool in the sense that she does other things, but what I mainly use her as a kind of like Joker. But the cool thing about her is she does slash instead of piercing like Cetie and Joker and his Mina do. Still physical resistance down, but it's slash, so anything. Some of the enemies you can't use against because they're resistant to pierce, and it's wind as well. So wind slash makes it easy for clearing mobs quickly. This I've not used a whole lot. It's cool that you can keep on using this and you'll get different resistances, but I don't really use that very much. The int down is nice, but this is usually what I use. Stacks wink, so like the more debuffs you get on it, the more damage they're gonna do. Like a lot of other characters, not a lot, but some of the other characters. And then it stacks these winks. Increase type resistance, kinda eh. But when you get 6, she's gonna use them and do another attack basically, which is alright. But in my opinion, she's alright. I've not used her terribly much. Let's see who else I got here. Let's see who's up on this thingy. Dierdre, really good. We'll be getting her soon. I don't really think I need to go over too much, but she'll get 5-star and a manifest for free. You don't got to do anything. AS Shion got his manifest, and he's quite the super tank. I think that's on the wiki as well. Let me get to that. His manifest fight is pretty difficult, but he's quite the he's a much better tank. He was okay before AS, but he's actually quite usable once you get his manifest weapon, not AS. Power and speed is a nice debuff on his regular attack, but he also stacks warrior spirits on. Yeah, there you go. You actually stack warrior spirits, and if it's crits, stack 2. So you can do a lot more damage now. And if they have rage on, if they're inflicted with rage, it does more damage. So he can do a lot more DPS. Not like he's not a major DPS now. But his this is the best part about him is because he does rage against everybody. He used to be, well, no, he used to counter single attack enemy. Rage was on me, but I think rage, the rage is 3 turns now. So this whole skill lasts 3 turns now, and it's all enemies for their counter attack. Which makes him so much better of a tank, and instead of having to pop this every turn, and the physical resistance lasts for 70%, it lasts 3 turns as well. So he's just quite the tank with this, and then having rage on everybody for 3 turns is a huge difference. Does Radius share her banner, or is it just her? You know, that's a good question. It looks like Dierdre and Shion are together. At least they were in Japan, which kind of sucks. Regular Shion still, a little bit lacking. So that sucks. But good luck to you. Hopefully you get Radius. That's who I'm pulling for. Sophia is amazing. She's free. Her quest is a little weird. Her quest is kind of annoying. It's not hard. It's actually really easy. It's just her quests involve a bunch of mini quests in order to get. So instead of collecting points from like dungeons and things like that, you do a whole bunch of mini quests, and that's how you progress through the story and things like that. Is by doing her story is basically a whole crap ton of quests. But herself, she's pretty amazing. She's gonna be really useful for a lot of people. Sophia is she's like a healer support character. She's water type, but I mean her VC already is really cool. She can restore 40% HP. She can't really heal much outside, or she can do this to heal. I don't use this terribly often because if you use it, I guess I guess I didn't realize that it'll at 5 stacks cast this. So I could have been using this a lot more and been healing. So I guess that's my bad. But this is my favorite skill because when you have 5 stacks of Rurudi, she'll give everybody hold ground, which is Lokito's skill, where you won't die. You'll only go down to 1 HP instead of taking a fatal blow, but that's only for 1 hit. So if there's a multi-hit, it only protects you for that 1 hit. But she can give it to everybody. So technically, like versus like say what's his name, Aquaji, you could get 5 stacks and cast this and get hold ground and not kill her, keep everybody alive. But this is better, more for long fights like the Hachiyos. It just makes everybody super survivable, so they won't die. She also gets physical resistance plus 20%, and type resistance plus 25 and 20. And this is what actually stacks the Rurudi for me, at least. And it stacks up to 5 times. So you can get 5 stacks and then 5 Rurudis. So you'll have, I don't know the math, but you'll have a whole bunch of physical and type resistance. And then after that, you'll have hold ground. And she could also heal. And she could also increase max HP. Yeah, well, using this. So she'll increase your max HP as well. So you just make it like the whole team super tanky. And what up, Zerat? How does it, man? But yeah, then I guess it's entirely possible that they could come out with like Crystal and all those zones, Crystal and Zone, but they still haven't come out with Blunt Zone yet. We just got Magic Zone. So that's the thing. What else we got here? Renri is really good when she gets her manifest. I mean, she's okay by herself, but she does a lot of damage and she does a lot of debuffing. Let me click on. Let me find where that's at. Hold on. Wiki also been fantastic for trying to plan stuff for the future and help me get through navigate through playing in Japan. But yeah, once you get, I mean, this is kind of a lame skill already by itself. But when you get the manifest, that power intelligence minus 25% and speed minus 50% is just so good. I hear like people like the moth, like the moth won't be able to really go first once if you just get this on her or on the moth. And then she does tons of damage non-type, but in Slash Zone this will be really good. Inflict pain without, 100% for pain, and she does more damage if they have pain. So kind of like how Nagi works. She got a multiplier, but also she'll do more damage, because of debuffs. And she already has 3 debuffs. I think it's 5 max. I want to say. I could be wrong on that. But yeah, she does a ton of damage, and I can only imagine what she would be like in Slash Zone. I just have her regular, but yeah, if she was in Slash Zone, she would be doing all the deeps for sure. What else can I comment upon? AS Ciel is good. AS Ciel is okay. Especially if you have a bow user, especially if you have Yukino, because AS Ciel will grant bow users 50% damage and then 30% crit. Let me double check. Or is it 30% damage and 30% crit? Oh no, it's 50% damage and 30% crit damage. And all Earth type 30%. But if you had him in, or her, whatever you wanna, whatever they identify as Ciel, with Yukino, who just came out, Yukino also does bow equip damage 50% and crit damage 30%. Crit damage, as far as I know, is if you do 30 and 30, it will be 60 instead of 50 and 50 would be 75. But still, combining Ciel with Yukino, you'd get 75% bow damage and 60% crit damage. Would be a lot of crit, or Pierce Zone, which is just more damage. And then this is okay. It does crit a lot versus all enemies, but it doesn't really have a single target skill. This is just a buff. But I think he stacks tumbles every turn, which is cool, but it's kind of eh. And then the type resistance plus 30 is always useful. Did the paid and got AS Shion? No, nice. Congrats there, Not sure how I feel about Water Team, eh? Still good. But he's like a bow zone provider, kinda, yeah, and Jade's the same way. It's like a mini zone without the extra. Well, I'm on the wrong page. Without the extra zone stuff. Let's see what else I actually have that I could talk about. We just got Felmina, so we don't need to talk about that. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, the Apocalypse quest. We'll get Clarte. He's really good even at 4-star, and he can do some damage. And he has a refresh, and something else. But Japan still doesn't even have his 5-star variant yet. So that's that. But there's extra quests, extra stones to be gotten. Here, I'll go down the list now, though. And Bria, it's really cool too. Bria can get everybody hold ground too, so she'll be good for like Ukwaji. So she can start off by giving everybody 40% physical resistance, regen, and hold ground. She only gets 1 Dame stack, and that's at the beginning of the round, so you can only do this once per round, but she can start off by not letting anybody die and make everybody a bit tankier. You do have to use chants, and you have to get her tome from the 2 Nights quest to get her, but she is useful, but I don't know if she's necessarily worth it. I did do Felmina Manifest. It was pretty easy for Wind Zone. But yeah, the two Nights quest itself is fairly easy. The mobs aren't pretty high, but there are some extra horrors / fears or super bosses or whatever. One's easy; it just takes forever. Like it's almost impossible to die to it. But there's a mushroom that's really, really tough. I've not been able to kill it yet. And you have to kill them 10 times to get... You'll get Dierdre's VC Grasta 1 for pretty easily after you beat the 2 Nights quest. But to get the other 2 VC grasta, you need to beat the 2 extra bosses 10 times, I believe. So, and that can be tough. But you can get her true VC grasta with enough time, which is pretty cool. And you don't have to spend anything to get her to 5 stars. Once you finish the quest, she becomes 5 star. And then you can get her manifest, and that makes her even better. And she does a lot of earth damage. So yeah, I've been not really trying to pull much for earth, because between Serene and Dierdre, those are 2 really good earth DPSs for free. And then Radius, all my gems are going to Radius. Hopefully not all of them, but they are reserved for her. Anabel AS is an incredible DPS, and she can actually remove zone, which is cool. But I don't have any experience using her, so I can't really comment on that. But from what I hear, she's one of the top water DPSs, and she's a zone setter and she's a zone removal. Zafiro I don't know much about, but I hear mixed reviews on Zafiro. Claude with Manifest gets really good. Tsukiha I don't know anything about, but we'll look at Claude here. Claude with Manifest, what was really good? There was something. Piercing resistance is nice, which equals -60, but the speed is good. Oh, the crit damage, that's why he gets really good. So the crit damage increase is nice. So you could actually combine him with AS Ciel and Yukino and get 90% crit damage for for everybody, but for bow users in particular, and he's a bow user, so and this does a pretty decent amount of damage too. And then this power intelligence, nice debuff, but kind of man. But I guess in Pierce Zone it could be nice, especially with Ciel and Yukino and anybody else increases bow or crit damage. So yeah, that could potentially do a silly amount of damage. Veina AS is very nice. I have her on the alt account. Do I have 2 things playing at the same time? Oh man, this is gonna be annoying recording. I'm sorry. Fucking oh well, I'm not even doing this again. Just wondering when there's a banner for a character that you're trying to get. Do you usually do 1 by 1 or immediately 10? 10 is the you have the best odds by doing a 10 pull because you get a guaranteed 4-star at the end. But 1 by 1, if you get it before the 10, you could potentially save some gems that way. It's always a toss-up. I think there's no real correct way to do it, I guess, or optimal way. I mean, if you're trying to save gems 1 by 1 is better, but if not, it's okay. I mean, whatever you're feeling. It's all RNG anyways. But AS Vienna is really good. She is basically like, she's kind of like AS Claude and Dune Earth combined, so into one character, which is nice, so you don't need 2 characters. She sets the win zone. Her win zone increases int, which is not necessarily ideal compared to Claude, but she gives everybody crit when she gets 3 stacked of these things, Velocitari. And so she gives everybody crit for 3 turns, and she stacks them using both skills, so she can use her HP up, restore all statuses, and increase max HP, which is extremely useful. And then wind type resistance when it's in wind zone. And then she has a single target attack, and then wind type attack, so wind type increases, so which is cool, and just a spam. And then increases crit, by every 100%. So you don't even need Dune Earth anymore in your wind zone. She could do all the things. So yeah, you don't need Claude or Dune Earth. That's why she's better than Claude. It took me a while to figure that out, but yeah, she's worth it. So if you don't have Claude AS already and you want wind zone, it's worth going for. Cynthia does a lot of damage based on int, I want to say, kind of like, I hit Shannon by accident. Cynthia does a lot of damage based off of int, so kind of like is it int, I think? And she has all kinds of things. I don't actually have her, but she changes her element according to type zone, which is cool. But yeah, I think she's set on it. I could be wrong, maybe not. I don't know. I've not used her, but here she can put out some good numbers. She does have a nice VC, same as Serene's. But yeah, I'm not gonna really say too much about her because I don't know. Dewey's cool with his manifest, and so is Yuna because Dewey gets a crit buff, crit damage buff. I don't have him on Japan, but just reading it. So water team getting crit damage is real nice. Crit damage 50% too, which is much larger than everybody else's 30%. So yeah, for him in water, we don't have blunt zone yet, but water team's gonna be real nice. And just MP cost, it's kind of meh. But the crit damage to everybody is gonna be quite useful for your water team. Oh wait, is this only for fists though? Oh no, it's all party members. Okay, so fist increases, but I'd say more so for the crit damage of all party members and water zone. And we don't have a blunt zone, so meh, it wouldn't be that great, but it'd still be okay for like Lokito and like Amy and people like that. But being water, eh. Yuna becomes like a real healer with this. I don't have any Yunas, so I can't really add too much. But the increase in buffs, nice. What is it, 25%? Yeah, so it gets 5% increase. Elemental attacks plus 30% is nice. So she becomes even more of a. It was already a pretty good buff, but it's even better buff once she gets her manifest, and then she can actually restore HP and get regen and restore all statuses. So it's like kind of like Pure Cradle for Mariel, but it also restores, refreshes statuses, whatever you want to call it. So it's just all the healing and stuff in one skill. So she was quite the healer and quite the debuffer. Once she gets her, well, not the buffer and the healer. She already had good debuffs, but yeah, she becomes more of a healer once she gets her manifest. Let's see, Hardy sets Fire Zone. I've watched Mako play him. I mean, he's really, really good, but I don't really know too much about him. Sophia, I talked about already. Her quests that are annoying. Chiruriru just does silly amounts of damage. I already said, yeah, she's a glass cannon. She's got Dark Zone. You can set up. You don't even really need the crit rate because when you're in Lunatic Zone, it's like 100% crit, I believe. Yeah, guaranteed crit when you're in Lunatic for her. You get more damage, so you don't really need to worry about this. Crit rate 100%. This is a good skill though. It's kind of like Lokito's. And Shadow Slipe. This is the skill you want to spam, I believe. Yeah, this is a skill you spam when you're AFing, and if you combine this with what's his name, like it does a silly amount, but you want HP to be max, so you kind of want some life leech, and she's very squishy, so trying to keep her alive is tough, and trying to keep her at above 80% is also tough. So maybe you want to put some life leech on her, maybe with Miyake's sword, and then she could also buff herself up 50%. And it makes her even more of a glass cannon because it makes her more squishier to physical attacks. And this is actually on her, so usually I pop Lunatic. I'll pop this. I'll pop Lunatic, and then I'll use this. I believe is what I do to get her on. And she just has some really ridiculous numbers that come off, even challenging Foran because they're constant. And I talked about Victor already. I don't know if I did for the video, but yeah, he increases your multiplier, your damage multiplier in AF, and he's good for that. He's pretty neat. He looks kind of like Chrono. Clarte, I didn't really get into, but it's okay. Ciel AS, I've not gotten either, but she does a ton of damage. I believe, I talked about Mistreya. Yukino does a ton of damage, and she's got a cool thing where she turns into a snowman and does a bunch of magic damage, and like Ciel, she does the bow and crit damage up, which is nice. I haven't pulled her yet though, or I have pulled her, but the account just has her, so I've not really gotten to use her. Hiina does she's like kind of like Hikio, but not. But she'll do a lot of wind slash damage. I think she's one of the top DPS now. And Rosetta AS will be your magic zone setter. which will be a long time from now for global, but she does she makes magic relevant again, and people have done some really big numbers using Rosetta AS, which I'm trying to get now to test out, but we'll see how that goes. And yeah, that's it for what I've learned. Well, I mean, there are other things I guess I can get into, but that's it for now as far as this goes. And then, oh yeah, I could talk about there's a Goddess of Time Part 3, and obviously spoilers for things. Goddess of Time 3 takes place in a lot of the future, really. And there's a new dungeon which you can get Serene Light from. And the dungeon's pretty cool, and they increase the drop rate on frags too, which is nice. Let's go to the dungeon. They also added new enhancement for grasta. So like when you enhance grasta, it just gets kind of silly. I've not ventured into that yet. There's no new hachios. There's a couple new horrors, and there's new weapons that are pretty OP as well. And that's from Time Goddess Part 3. I think that pretty much covers everything. Oh, I'm not going the right place. Yeah, I think that's a pretty as brief as I could make it. Here's what I learned from playing in Japan. This is Sophia's quest. This is the Two Nights Part 2. Yeah, both are very easy. Both are very doable with like probably level 30, 40, 50-ish characters. So if you're a new player, you can get these done pretty quickly and have some pretty good characters to start out with, including Sophia. And they're both 5-star and they're both free, which is really cool. You don't have to spend any chance. Yeah, that's pretty much it.